They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of this place.
Give me 1 second. Does it make- Yes. There, any sound? Let me reboot it. Yeah, I'm back. My bad. For some reason the audio wasn't working. You know, what I did is I was plugging in the like a better mic, but for some reason it wasn't working. So we'll just go the old way. But basically what this stream is supposed to be about is something very important that I think a lot of men need to think about. Because if we live in a male limitation society, a society where you're not allowed to, as a man, to basically reach your true potential, you know what I'm saying? In fact, give me 1 minute. Let me get on the road again. 1 second. All right. Let me plug it up. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can get the audio working. For some reason, man. Let's fix the audio. Give me a second. Damn. Yeah. Give me 1 minute. Fix the audio. Okay. All right. Give me a second. Let me plug it in. Let me restart it. Well, hopefully the audio is working right now. The audio should be good. Audio should be good. Give me 1 second. Let me check if the audio is good. Should be good right now. All right. Thank you, man. My bad. My apologies. I had a minor issue with the audio. But basically what this live stream is supposed to be about is that I think there's a major issue we men need to think about is that if we live in a male limitation society where we men are basically legally not allowed to reach our full potential of who we are and what we can achieve, there's something we need to think about. And originally I wasn't gonna be streaming today, but oh yeah, yo, Mr. P, man, respect, man, thank you. As I'm on the road, but I thought about this, and I think this is a major subject, and I'll eventually clip this stream just in case. But basically, I think because we live in a male limitation society where we're not allowed to reach our true potential in this society, an Americanized society, when it comes to, being a man on an organic level, you know what I'm saying? Where everything you do when it means completing being a man is in, whether it is having children, starting a family, and so on, you know, since we're in a society where legally any pursuit of trying to be a man completely is a high risk. It's a high risk maneuver, starting a family, having children, and so on. And then in this society where you're not allowed to have authority as a man and it's advertised as a negative, toxic masculinity, and so on, where male authority is seen as truly troublesome. And they're even telling men that it's an outdated way of thinking and an outdated way of living. A lot of men are basically looking at themselves in this society and not actually understanding how to live. So, a big question that popped up in my head was that, man, if we have all these legal issues, that are in the way of you trying to be a man, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to fulfilling your goal of starting a family. And if you have a family, your family's at risk, you know, because you're trying to be a stable protector and provider of your family. And all the laws are written to where it's all about destabilizing that. So the question that popped up in my head is that, well, then, what are you supposed to do? And, we've all spoken about what you're supposed to do and, how you could live your life. But I think one aspect we need to talk about is that I think because of the law and how things are, I think men are only allowed moments. I think we're at a point where we as men live in a momentary moments, as in we in the moment, in the moment we can do something, you know. You can live in the moment, but beyond that, you can't operate outside of the moment, you know. And what do I mean by that? Well, I made a video last time where I spoke about the fact that we're in the age of the temporary term relationship and the no term relationship, you know. So when it comes to relationships with how the society is being run, is that we're in a temporary term and a no term relationship where there are no terms. And if there are any terms, it's very temporary. So now I spoke about the relationship aspect, but what does that mean? What does that mean when you're in a society where, for example, a man and a woman, the relationship is temporary, and and then it might even be a no term relationship where there's no terms. So what can you actually achieve in that scenario? And I think what's happened is we men are only allowed moments, you know, moments. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you're with a woman, and within that moment, there's understanding, there's loyalty, there's respect. And you can enjoy that, but that's it. Within that moment, that's it, man. That's all you're allowed to have is a moment. You know what I'm saying? It's a moment because when there isn't any long-term value, as in, you're not planning to start a family, you're not planning to have a long-term relationship, and you really can't in this society the way it is, because as a man you can't set any terms or have any standards. So when you're a man and you can't set any terms or have any standards when it comes to the relationship between you and a woman, all you can have are the moments. That's it. All that you can have are the moments. You can cherish that moment and move on. You know what I'm saying? So really, we're in a society where, since everything's been destabilized when it comes to male authority and male stability, stability built on and provided by men in a relationship, all a man is allowed to have are moments. You know what I'm saying? Moments. And I realized this, while I was thinking a lot, came to me. You know what I'm saying? The idea came to me and I was like, yeah, man. And I've had this saying for a while. My saying was but I didn't understand it completely. I had a saying where, if I was with a woman, when I'm with her, I'm with her. That's it, man. When I'm with her, I'm with her. Whatever else happens outside of when we're together, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Now I can actually I can articulate the meaning behind that saying. And the meaning behind that saying is really, whatever moments I have with a woman, those are the moments. That's it. Beyond those moments, there is nothing outside of that. And I think a lot of men that, we men, let's be honest, we've been programmed, and it's based off our ancestry and how we got to where we are now. We're long term. You know what I'm saying? A man's goal is always about long term. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, your children and the family you plan to have, you got to have long term goals, long term preparation, long term aspirations, you know what I mean? So we're literally mentally locked in for long term goals, long term goals. But in the society we're in, when it comes to a relationship, a man is only allowed, moments, moments. That's it. That's all you're allowed to have, because you can't go beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Beyond those moments comes toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Toxic masculinity, sexism. You know what I'm saying? Because beyond those moments would be you setting standards. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you're with a woman, you're having a date, whatever, y'all talking, and in that moment, within that moment of y'all being together, you know what I'm saying? You start setting up or talking about your standards, so this date could go beyond a moment. You know what I'm saying? It can be more than a moment. You know, it could have long term value. You know what I'm saying? It could lead to a long term relationship, but you can't do that anymore. You can't set any standards. That would be, I said, toxic masculinity and sexism. You know what I'm saying? That's what that would be referred to. because I did a stream a while ago called I think something about a boss or something like that. Because the society you're in, when men aren't allowed to provide stability or be a source of stability in the relationship, the society you're in, only the employer and the government could be that, the provider of stability and the provider of, standards and so on. So when you as a man are not allowed that, you're no longer a source of stability, protection and provision. You're no longer that source. You can't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I did a video. My first video I did was I think it's over 2 years old, was live by the one strike. Like, for example, right now, the Jonathan Majors, the Jonathan Majors video was released where it turns out that he was running away from his girlfriend. Turns out he was running away from her. You know, they were having an argument and he was running away from her. Now, a lot of people with basic level of thinking will say, well, he wasn't in the wrong. He wasn't in the wrong. Jonathan Majors wasn't in the wrong. You know, he was doing the right thing. His girlfriend was in the wrong. She was abusive. She was the one abusing him. That's what the basic layman would be thinking. That's what a lesser pillar, what I'm saying, a new word I've coined, I call it a distance from intelligence. You know what I'm saying? That's what someone distant from intelligence would be thinking. That Jonathan Majors did the right thing, that he did the right thing running away from his girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? That he wasn't in the wrong, that he was not fallible. But if you think that way, you're actually promoting that sexism and that sexism and toxic masculinity. Because the scenario is that Jonathan Majors, in all honesty, he ignored what I call the traffic lights. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in the whole, after thinking about it for a while, I don't believe in the whole red flags, yellow flag. You know what I'm saying? I think flags are basically, it's too stationary. You know what I'm saying? By the time a flag is shown and a flag is planted, it's already too late. You know what I'm saying? The relationship is already destroyed and it's already in a state of destruction. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think we're better off adapting the traffic lights. Red light, you know what I'm saying? Red light means stop. You know what I'm saying? We know that. The red light means stop. The green light means go. And, the yellow light means caution. That's how we got to look at life. I did a video on it called The Traffic Lights. That's how we got to look at relationships in life, because in life, you're on the road. You're always moving forward. You know what I'm saying? You're always moving forward in life. You know what I'm saying? Life is not about stopping and slow, being in a moment where you're just stopping. You're always moving in life. And while you're moving in life, you know what I'm saying? Like when you're on the road, there are traffic lights. You know what I'm saying? There are traffic lights in life. And when it comes to a relationship, if you didn't see the yellow light of that relationship, the caution, you know what I'm saying? If you ignored the yellow light and just drove fast into the red light, you know what I'm saying? You will get what you deserve, man. As I stated in that video, in the West, in America, where we're at, in American based countries, where the laws reflect the American country when it comes to men and women, we men are in the yellow light, man.
we're in the yellow light. You know, we're not allowed to move without caution. You know, there's no such thing as a green light in the West when it comes to relationships between men and women now. There is only caution. You know what I'm saying? Men are only allowed to move within the yellow light, which is caution. You know what I'm saying? You're allowed to move with caution. You know, we saw what happened with, you know, Me Too. You know what I'm saying? Me Too, believe all women. You know what I'm saying? We saw Black Lives Matter. You know, we saw everything that was basically fueled by an anti male stance. You know what I'm saying? And you still see it today with the so called wage gap and all that stuff. So you see all these practices that are happening, you know, that are very right up front. You know what I'm saying? Believe all women, you know, which that was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? That means they cannot lie. That's and you gotta understand the media push this. You know what I mean? You gotta understand all these things will push by the proper channels. You know, so it wasn't something that just came out of nowhere. So with the Jonathan Majors situation, you gotta understand that he's been ignoring the yellow light, you know, caution of their relationship. Because I guarantee she's yelled at him, she's cursed at him in the house. You know, the way relationships are in the West, you got to leave. A man isn't allowed to say anything anymore. Now I know what you're looking at. You saw the thumbnail. Now, what is that thumbnail? You know, the thumbnail of this video. The reason I made this thumbnail with Chat GPT is that the real world for a man is on fire. You know, the real world, you're it's on fire. So a man has to move extremely carefully in the real world, or he'll burn. You know what I'm saying? But with social media and the internet, you're actually allowed to spend more time as a man. You know what I'm saying? You have more freedom online to a certain extent than you have within the real world. You know what I'm saying? Within the real world, you have to move with so much caution. You know what I mean? You got to remember within the real world, you're a man, and there are consequences to that. You know, I'm not saying you're 100% free on social media, but look at this stream. You know what I'm saying? Look at this stream, how we're able to talk on this stream. Then, you know, even on Discord, we're allowed to talk a lot more, you know, be a little more freely, you know, be a little more comfortable within our manhood, you know, more on the internet than we are within real life parameters. You know what I'm saying? Within real life, there are consequences. You know what I'm saying? Think about, I've been on some streams where guys have argued with a woman or, you know, said what they've said, you know, on a stream. And, you know, they move on. They go about their lives. There's a whole section of YouTube where certain people are categorizing the interaction between men and women online, you know? And, you know, men and women online get into arguments, disputes, and they move on. But let that happen in real life, man. Let that happen in real life. You know what I'm saying? Let you display your disdain or disagreements, or you get too loud in real life. You know, you'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? You get too loud in real life, there are consequences to that because you're a man. Those could be seen as you being domestically, you know, what is that? Domestic violence case could happen. You know what I'm saying? A domestic violence case. I forget the other words. Public. I forget the other words. But in real life, there could be consequences. You know what I'm saying? While online, you got a little more wiggle room. You know what I'm saying? I've seen men and women argue online, disagree with each other, yell at each other, but let that be in real life. You know what I'm saying? Let that be in real life, and you would see the consequences of that interaction. You know what I'm saying? If it happened in real time, real life. That's why the thumbnail is of the world burning, the world around you, because this is how you got to move. You know what I'm saying? You're moving with the traffic lights. Men in America right now are in the yellow. You know what I'm saying? It's always the yellow light. You know what I'm saying? There's always caution, because Me Too and all that, it hyper, you know what I'm saying? It hyper informed and displayed what it means. You know what I'm saying? Why men aren't allowed to really move in the road of life beyond the state of caution. You know what I'm saying? It showed that. And what's going on is that a lot of men need to understand is that, you know, you got to look at, and I'll bring back the Jonathan Majors case. Let me wrap that one up. If Jonathan Majors would have, when he first noticed a sign of hostility and disrespect, would have ended the relationship right then and there. You know what I'm saying? If she yelled at him, cursed at him, you know what I'm saying? If he would have ended that relationship right then and there upon the first interaction of hostility, he wouldn't be in the situation he's in right now. A lot of men still think, I mean, shout out to some of the homies in Discord. I was chopping up with OJ. Shout out to the homie Thomas. Shout out to Pars and shout out to the homie the Gold Pillar. We were talking, and shout out to what I'm saying, Deacon Little. Shout out to David. When we were talking, what I'm saying, we were talking about relationships and what's going on. Is that one thing you realize is that, man, you're a man, bro. You don't have, a lot of men are still stuck in the narrative, in a lot of the narrative from the 90s. Like in the 90s, you had men and women arguing, they argue a lot, they yell at each other. There was a lot of mental distress, a lot of mental distress promoted between a man and a woman in a relationship, and it was shown that this is normal, that a man and a woman arguing in a relationship, this is normal, when in truth, it's not normal at all. You know what I'm saying? It's a sign that you're not respected as the man in a relationship. And there's really no line between how she sees you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So to me, a lot of men were, what the hell? You see, I think I see, what is that? Man, wow. Can't believe that dude still comes. But yeah, the thing is, a lot of men in the 90s said, this is normal. You know what I'm saying? This is how a relationship is between men and women, yelling and arguing, when really that was just promoting the lack of respect for a man in a relationship, that there is no respect. You know what I mean? Damn, man, part of me thinks, that there is no respect, and there is no, in a relationship, there's no view that the man and the woman are different. You know what I'm saying? That was a huge thing when it came to what's going on. So, but that was the 90s. The 90s, men and women would yell and argue. But in today's age, that would be mental abuse. That would be a case for a domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? I remember talking to a friend of mine, and he said, when it comes to domestic violence, it's really a blurred line. There's a real blurred line when it comes to domestic violence. You know, what it means, the definition behind it, and what could actually, what actions could actually mean domestic violence. For example, you yelling and cursing at your partner, the woman you're with, the relationship you're in, that could be viewed as domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? You could catch a domestic violence case for that. You know what I mean? Oh man. Yeah, you could catch a domestic domestic violence case for that. You know what I mean? So a lot of men aren't aware of that you cursing and you yelling, that could be that could lead to a domestic violence case. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be right back. Let me get something. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Just put the banner. I will be right. We will be right back with your scheduled show. Yeah, well, I'm back. But yeah, like I was saying, man, with what happened with Jonathan Majors is that it's a clear it's a clear sign of a man who ignored Jonathan Majors ignored the issues he had with his girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? He ignored it. He ignored it until the option to ignore it was no longer there anymore. You know? And right now, a lot of men haven't adapted, man. You know, what's funny about all this is that I made that video live by the one strike rule almost over 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Almost 4 years to this date, I made that video, live by the one strike, man. Almost almost 4 years ago. And this video I made over 4 years ago is more accurate to what's going on today than ever before. Because what a lot of men in America and in the West don't understand is that there is no longer any room to work things out. Those days are gone. You know what I'm saying? There is no more, oh, we got time to work it out. We gotta have what they call that counseling and all that. Those days are done. The reason those days are done is that those days are only creating opportunities to destroy yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's only an opportunity to destroy yourself. You know what I'm saying? Once there are signs of disrespect, you know, and this is why I call this live stream, you know, momentary moments. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you're allowed to have now, moments. For example, before I finish my thought is that, okay, you're in a relationship, you're in a good moment. You know what I'm saying? You're in a moment where everything's working out between you and your girl. You know what I'm saying? That moment right there. You know what I'm saying? That moment isn't forever. So everything's working out, good moment. Now things are not working out. That moment is gone. What a lot of men think now is that, you know what? We had good moments together. We'll return to those good moments. You know what I'm saying? When in reality, no, man. That option to return, the option to return is gone because that was its own moment. You know what I'm saying? That moment in itself is I think the word, yeah, it's encapsulated. It's its own situation. It's its own moment, you know? And a lot of men don't understand that once you're outside of the moment of positivity, the moment of understanding, that's it. You're in a different moment now. And you got to move accordingly to that moment. And you got to ask yourself, is the risk, you know what I'm saying? Is the risk worth you investing so much time, patience, effort into a relationship just for momentary value, just for a good moment? You know, that's where a lot of men are now, man. A lot of men are in a relationship where that's all it is, man. Moments. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no long term beyond the moments. Outside of those moments, there is nothing else. You know what I mean? And a lot of men are over investing moments for what they think could be long term relationships. You know what I'm saying? The days of long term are done. You know what I mean? It's strictly moments, moment to moment. That's it. Because at the end of the day, you can't set any standards. It's like I was telling somebody when I made that video, long term, no term relationships and temporary term relationships. The reason those exist is that you can't say nothing. If the woman you're with is gaining weight, you can't speak on her weight. You know what I'm saying? You might end up on YouTube or on Facebook as a abusive boyfriend and so on. You can't say nothing because you don't have the right to say anything. You're in a male limited limitation society. Anything you say, I'm saying, forget what do the cops say. I think anything you say or do will be held under the court of law. You know what I mean? I think that's the saying the police be using. Well, that's the saying that you as a man are facing. Anything you say or do will be held under the court of law as a violation. You know what I'm saying? I live by a new law, a new rule. As a man, you got to understand you're guilty until proven guilty. That's it, man. That whole narrative of guilty until proven innocent, that doesn't exist. That's not an option for you, man. You're guilty until proven guilty. That's it, man. And the end of this is that, dude, you're guilty. So to get back to the Jonathan Majors situation is that had Jonathan Majors accepted the scenario that the woman he's with does not see him as a man, that he's in America where in a relationship you're far less to her and will never be a man. You're not allowed to set any rules or have any standards. You know what I'm saying? And think about it, Jonathan Majors, big time actor, he was on his way. Creed, he was getting all the headlines. Whether the movies were good or not, don't matter. He was on the path of stardom. But at the end of the day, he did not understand his role in the relationship. That, dude, you're a man. You're a man and your words have no value. Your authority has no value. You know what I'm saying? So had somebody like a Jonathan Majors just accepted that, yo, the woman he's with does not respect him. He should leave that situation at the drop of a dime. As soon as a sign of disrespect is shown where you see it could create a domestic violent case, let's say you're in a relationship right now and your woman, you're in the house with her, she just starts cursing at you, yelling at you, disrespecting you, you got to leave. You know what I'm saying? No arguments, no talking back, leave. You know what I'm saying? Because you're now in the red light. You know what I'm saying? You're in the red light. You, as a man in the West, you're in a state of caution. You know what I'm saying? You're in a state of caution to begin with. You know what I'm saying? You're in caution. You're in a state of caution. So any sign of disrespect, you got to view it as the red light. The red light. You know what I'm saying? Because you're already in the yellow light. You're in America, you know what I'm saying, which is anti male authority in a relationship anyway. So you're already in the yellow light, you know. So what you got to do in understanding that is that once you see a sign of disrespect, you got to get up politely, whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And in the relationship, it's over. It's over, man. You know, the relationship is done. As soon as there's a sign of disrespect that could lead to a domestic violence case, that could escalate to it. There's one thing I covered on that video, the one strike rule over 3 years ago is de-escalation. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand that, you don't have time for things to escalate. You can't afford escalation. So as soon as there's a sign of a problem, you have to end it. You know, you got to end it. The only way a man can de-escalate a situation is to leave. And I'm not saying, well, my girl is yelling at me, I'm gonna leave the house and come back. Nah, man. It's leave, bro. It's done. You walk away from that and never come back. You know what I'm saying? Because what you got to understand is that you remaining in that situation means you support it. You supported what happened. You support that it got to that point that you had to be disrespected and cursed at. You support it. The reason you support it is that you're still within the relationship, knowing that you're a man in the West and you have so much to lose, your career, your job, you know what I'm saying? Your entire your entire lifeline. Oh shit, man. Wow, I was driving with a wow, that's wild. You know what I'm saying? Your entire life is on the line. And if you stay within that relationship with everything going on, it means you supported it. You supported it, man. And what you got to look at with a Jonathan Majors is that him running wasn't the smart thing to do. You know what I'm saying? The smart thing to do would have been that situation should have never happened. He should have left a while ago. You know what I'm saying? As soon as there was a sign of disrespect, he should have left. Jonathan Majors should have left that relationship upon the first sign of disrespect. You know what I mean? Because after Me Too, and you look at the Hollywood situation, that's another sign that he should have known better. But this is the domesticated man, man. This is what I said to a lot of men, man. A lot of men never listened to what I said about the pink pill. The American man now is feminized. You know what I'm saying? So feminized that everything that is seen as a disrespect to his manhood, he sees it as a sign of respect. He sees it as a sign of something he should stay towards. You know, his girl yelling at him, cursing at him. You know what I mean? He's so submissive. You know, he doesn't see that, oh, this is a disrespect to my manhood. I gotta leave. Especially with all the laws. You know what I mean? Like you saw the Louis C.K. thing, the Louis C.K. And Louis C.K., he came back because Louis C.K. established himself in the 2010s as independent anyway. You know, when he released that stand-up special online, he established that I don't need the system to push me. I could put up a special online at any time. But you gotta look at the Louis C.K. thing. He was an adult. He invited this woman in his house, two adults, and he asked her, "Do you mind if I pull out my damn man, I had a new word for privates. Damn, I forgot the word. Yeah, he said he would pull it out and she got disgusted. You gotta remember they're two adults. You know what I'm saying? They're two adults. And he asked her, could he do it? And then instead of her leaving, she got disgusted. She could have just said, you know what, she's not about that and left. But instead, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. Don't you know she's don't you know she's a woman, as in She's not seen as someone able to make a choice, an adult decision with the way the system is set up, you know. But Louis C.K. he bounced back. You know, some shows won't have him on, some of his movies won't be shown. He doesn't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at a Jonathan Majors, there's no way to look at Jonathan Majors and say he didn't know what the hell was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? He was in Hollywood during Me Too. He was there during Me Too and Time Is Up and all that stuff. So he should have known better. But as I've been telling men, man, I keep telling guys, and I've seen somebody copy what I've been saying, and it will happen. We are the, guys like me are the content. Some I tell guys we're in the age of the pink pill. 2010s was all about establishing the age of the feminized man. That's where we're at. So you look at a Jonathan Majors, man, you got to understand what he did. It's to be expected. You know, a man in today's society will literally risk his entire life, his success, his name, his character, all for a relationship he could easily leave and get a new one. You know what I'm saying? Get a new one because that female's validation is worth more than anything to him. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the Jonathan Majors case, don't look at it from he ran out the car, he was trying to prove that he's not the one harming her and hurting her. No, man, he failed already, man. How could she be that comfortable to chase you, disrespect you while you're in a private car? He might have been on an Uber or something. How could she be that comfortable? And then to me, while it was filmed, there's a lot of cameras on the sidewalks and on the streets, whatever. You know what I mean? But how could she be that comfortable to escalate the level of disrespect? It's because he's always ignored it. He's always allowed it. He's probably been cursed at, slapped, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Abused. Not even, well, it ain't abused because, volunteers can't be victims. When you allowed it, you can't be a victim now. So the thing I'm telling a lot of men with this live stream is that you gotta understand, man, we're in the age due to the law and everything going on. You're allowed moments, moments. That's it. You had a good moment. That's it, man. That's all you're allowed to have is a moment. Once you step outside of those moments, it's done. You know what I'm saying? That's it, man. And a lot of men, because of we're hardwired to seek out, long-term prospects, long-term relationships. We're hardwired for that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, because look at it. Let's say you're on a date. So you go meet this girl. You're no longer strangers. You now establish, I know her, she knows me. There are steps towards building a long-term relationship. But what's happened now with the legal ramifications and the fact that, like I said, a lot of men, you're targets now. You're a target by birth of being a man. You were born a male sex, you're a target. You know what I'm saying? So all the laws have broken down the structure, the stability of what would lead to a long term relationship. That structure is broken. Everything you're looking for now outside of the moment is towards your destruction. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in a relation, you're on a date, you know what I'm saying? Let's look at the date as a moment. Y'all had a good date. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had a good date. You know what I'm saying? So y'all had a good moment. That's it. You gotta look at it. It's kind of like, because I've written scripts for movies and comic books and all that stuff. You got to look at it like a scene. You know, You are in a dating scene, and that scene is over. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that nothing from that scene carries over. You know what I'm saying? The value from that scene and that moment does not carry over. You know what I'm saying? So every moment you're in is a new moment. You know what I'm saying? And I won't lie. This stream, it might be a little hard for me to articulate. This thought. Because it's very new. I'm still working it out. But basically, man, you're only allowed momentary value. That's it. The value of that moment, you enjoy that moment and you move on. That's it, man. That's all you're allowed to have. The notion that, well, we had a good date, that good date could lead to a good relationship. It could lead to positivity and all that. None of that matters anymore. You know what I'm saying? None of that matters because when it comes to the law between the legal aspect between you and this woman, you're less than her. In the eye of the law, you're more of not only are you less, but you're a predator. The way the law is structured, you're a predator. You know what I'm saying? So she, within that moment, and this is the reason I say it's a moment. Within that moment, she, what I'm saying, she allowed you to experience a positive moment. You know what I'm saying? After that, the next moment, who knows? Who knows what the next moment will be? You know what I mean? So, and I know a lot of guys in the manosphere will watch and talk about Chads, Tyrones, you know what I'm saying, the Aladdins, you know what I mean, Aladdins, the Enriques, you know what I mean, I think that's it. I don't got the other names, but a lot of guys will bring up, well, the Chads and them don't got to worry about that. Not necessary, not really. You know what I'm saying? Because let's say she met a Chad at the bar, a Tyrone, whatever. They did what they did at the bar. They enjoyed each other. And then the next day, they might see each other, and whatever happened at the bar no longer matters. You know what I'm saying? So that moment is gone. Now it's a completely new moment. She sees him outside of the bar, and she's no longer looking at him within a positive light or trying to build something or have something. You know what I'm saying? Because that moment is over. Or let's go towards they slept together, they enjoyed each other, and that moment is done. That moment is over. You know what I'm saying? On to the next. You know what I mean? That's where we're at. It's always the next moment, you know, and the next moment does not carry over from the previous moment. As in, whatever was established in the previous moment does not matter in the next moment. The only thing that carries on is that you're no longer a stranger. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I did that video, the temporary term relationship and the no term relationship, that's where you're at. That's where you're at right now, man. And you gotta accept that all roads lead to either temporary or no terms. You know what I'm saying? And as I said, the no term relationship is that you're on no terms. There are no terms. You know, y'all just doing what y'all do with each other and you move on. There's no terms, there's no friends with benefits, none of that, none of that. It's all based on what's going on at that moment and whatever happens after that happens, you know. Then there's the temporary term relationship. Y'all together until it ends. And a temporary term could mean y'all were together for a week, y'all just together at the bar and it ends. So a lot of men, man, a lot of men in today's society, they're facing a lot of potential struggle and suffering because a lot of men are trying to build something for the long term. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to evaluate every interaction within the relationship or moment towards building something long term. You know what I'm saying? Or even short term. A man is trying to build something outside of the moment. And a lot of men aren't realizing that, yeah, man, outside of the moment is the moment. That's it. Outside of that moment, it's done. You got to also be aware of the hundreds of emails, you know what I mean, the DM messages on the social medias. There's so much to pick from. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it like, I think a good example would be, you know, put a bird, put a bird in front of put a bird, maybe a chicken, put a chicken, you know what I'm saying, and put in front of that chicken hundreds of worms, hundreds of worms, and watch that chicken just try to eat as many as possible. So as an interaction, you know what I mean, as much interaction as possible. Because what's happened with the women in it ain't social media, because men and women been socializing. It's nothing new socializing between men and women. What's happened is the law. You know what I'm saying? The legal ramifications. What's happened is that a lot of the women, due to the legal ramifications between interaction with the men, where a woman's emotion is literally overloaded. You know what I'm saying? To the point where it decides every aspect of her life. You know what I mean? Because since the men have no authority or, are completely targets now, it's target practice. You can look at being a man as basically being darts, the dart pool. You know what I'm saying? I play darts, man. I'm a monster at hitting that bullseye. You know what I mean? That bullseye, I'm a monster at that. You know what I mean? But the thing is, the men are the dartboards, man. The women are so overloaded with prospects and opportunities. And the fact that there is no stability, it means the women are constantly in a fluctuation of a temporary term, no term relationship. Okay. She'll call a dude on Tinder, boom, slept with the dude on Tinder. She might have some type of little short term, temporary term relationship agreement with some type of guy, you know what I'm saying, friends with benefits or whatever, associates. Well, I don't think there's friends with benefits anymore. I think it's more of associates and sex. That might be a new term, associates with sex. That's it, associates. You know what I mean? They're associated and they have sex with each other. You know what I mean? So you'll have that, in the way the society's set up is that the women are just literally overloaded. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to keep that woman stationary or stand still. There's no standards the men can offer. Any standards the men offer, there is a support system to claim that that man is being sexist, that man is being toxic masculinity, that man is being misogynist. Like if a guy's with his girlfriend and he wants to be attracted to her as long as possible, so he tells her, you know what, babe, stay in shape. Stay in shape. You know what I mean? I want you at your best. When a man asks her to stay in shape, he's really saying, I want you at your best. This is why we got together. So I need you to stay in shape. I need you to stay and constantly offer me your best. That's really what the man is saying. Keep offering me your best. And of course, I'll stay attracted and I'll do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? But the man saying this would be, oh, he's fat shaming. He's body shaming. All the aspects and the support structures are there to support the destructive nature. You know what I'm saying? And then the destructive aspects of emotion and validation. So all the support structures for self-destruction are there. You know what I mean? All the support structures for self-destruction are there. You know what I mean? So if that man offers any stability through standards by saying, you know what, be in shape. You know what I'm saying? Stay healthy. Stay in shape. That would be seen as a negative. You know what I mean? That's a negative. That's being misogynistic. That's being abusive. So in knowing this, that as a man, dude, you can't say nothing, man. You can't say nothing. You know what I mean? The only thing you're allowed to say is compliments. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of guys saying, well, only the betas will simp and the non-chads will simp. You know, no, that's a lie, man. Every man will simp because within the face of a conversation, all a man is allowed to say is compliments. You know what I'm saying? You're only allowed to compliment. A chick's too big. What is it, man? Some chick came up to me, you know what I mean? Some chick came up to me and she was hippo built. You know what I'm saying? She was a HBW. You know what I'm saying? Hippo built woman. You know what I'm saying? HBW, she was a hippo built woman. She came up to me. She said, "Oh, I think you're cute." And I'm like, "Yeah." But I had a positive way to get out. She said, "Are you allowed to talk to people while you're working?" And I was, "Nah, I'm not allowed to talk." You know what I mean? I'm not allowed to talk. Now, if it was the early 2000s, I think I would have been able to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're not my type. I'm sorry." You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the interest, but you're not my type. Today, that would be, whoa, is it because you're body shaming? You know what I mean? It would lock you in a corner. You know what I'm saying? So you can't say nothing. That's really what it comes down to. You can't say nothing. You're allowed to be silent. You're not allowed to have standards. You know what I'm saying? Some guys will be more assertive, but the way I look at it with cameras and people willing to make you go viral at any moment, it ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of guys, man, they're just stepping away from it. You know what I mean? You're learning, I've encountered a lot of guys that just bring up Me Too, man. They'll bring up Me Too. They'll bring up that whole scenario. Time is up. They'll bring it all up. The great witch hunt. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Of all men. Because, you're not allowed to converse with a woman as an adult, as your fellow adult. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of men have come and moved differently. I mean, I work nightlife on and off. I might work a bar here and there, security on and off. And what you see is the men move differently. The men move like they're in a minefield. You know what I'm saying? Early 2000s, you know what I mean? Let's say early 2010s, let's say around 2012 to about 2014, men were moving like, you know what I mean? Men were moving, dog. They were moving. But now you go to the bar and you'll see that a lot of guys are moving very like they're in a minefield. You know what I'm saying? Even your Chads, your Tyrones, they're moving differently, man. You know what I'm saying? They're moving with a high level of hesitance. You know what I mean? Where usually the guy would just, try his luck. Hey, what's up? Bang. Oh, rejected. Move on. Bang, rejected, move on. But a lot of guys today are moving like they're in a minefield. You know what I'm saying? They're moving with caution or you know what I mean? So to me, a lot of guys need to understand, man. We're in the age of moments, momentary. Everything is momentary. Because when you can't have anything long term, or you can't even have anything short term, you can't even build towards that, then everything else becomes momentary. You know what I'm saying? It's momentary because there is no long term progression. You know what I mean? On the line, it's all momentary. You know what I mean? You with her for that moment. Outside of that moment is done. You know what I'm saying? And if things go wrong, you move away, man. You just step off. You might not even say nothing. You know what I'm saying? You might pull a Jonathan Majors. You might walk away. You know what I mean? But unlike Jonathan Majors, you don't walk away after ignoring all the red lights. After ignoring all the red lights and driving through the red light, you know what I mean, over and over, you don't do that. So a lot of guys, man, a lot of men are in today's day and moving with caution, but you got to understand, man, we are in the age of moments. All you have now is a man in the West are moments. That's it. And whatever happened in that moment, it stays in that moment. Yeah, that's actually a better way of saying it. Whatever happened in the moment stays in the moment. Let me repeat that. Whatever happened in the moment stays in the moment. You know what I mean? So to me, man, a lot of guys gonna have to learn that. Whatever the moment was, it is what it is, and you move on. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's where we're at, man. And a lot of men are fighting to return to that moment. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to return to a good moment without understanding whatever happened in the moment stays in the moment. You know what I mean? That's it. It's over. You move on. The next moment. That's it, man. But because of how unstable things are, it's become very microscopic, the moments now. You know what I'm saying? Positive moment could easily escalate to a very bad moment. You know what I'm saying? So to me, a lot of men right now are, you know, a lot of men are suffering from. They want to. They're seeking to invest in a relationship to build something long term. But a lot of men just aren't aware that you don't have that pull anymore, man. You don't have that authority. You know what I'm saying? You don't have enough authority to actually establish a long-term relationship. I mean, if you got the money, you know, or status, some of those matter to somewhat manipulate and artificially create a positive situation, but those are on a countdown. Because right now in the society we're in, with the laws being what they are, the most valuable thing right now is, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call it, clout, validation, those are the number one forms of currency. So you look at a Jonathan Majors, Hollywood actor, blah, 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 you know, celebrity actor, he's blowing up. What did that mean? He's with his girl. I don't know her background. I don't know her family's money. I don't know none of that. But he's not the first to go through that. It doesn't matter. The thing about the money and the status, and a lot of dudes from the black pill, a lot of guys will preach that. You know what I'm saying? Status, money. But the problem with that is that it's kind of like status and money. It basically gives you more time. Look at it like a ticking time bomb. Your relationship is a ticking, your interaction is a ticking time bomb. And the status and the money buys you more time. It adds more time potentially to that ticking time bomb. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what happens to that bomb? It's gonna go off. And then you add in the fact that you will never have enough clout and social currency or validation. You look at a Tom Brady. Tom Brady, and before Tom Brady, what's funny about the Brady situation is that, Tom Brady's the GOAT, quarterback GOAT, you know what I'm saying? The quarterback GOAT. And if you look at Michael Jordan and Tom Brady, it ends the same. Michael Jordan got divorced. I mean, Jordan had to fork up over $200 million. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the situation with Giselle. I think Giselle was worth more than Brady. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end, what happened? The most decorated athletes ever, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, both divorced. You know what I'm saying? The GOATs. You know what I mean? The GOATs of their individual sports divorced. You know what I mean? Divorced, man. Tom Brady and Michael Jordan both divorced. So, no matter how much of a Chad, no matter how much of a Tyrone you are, you know what I'm saying? It still led to divorce. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell guys, man, no man can compete. Once it's legally established that, a man's authority has been destabilized, then no man can compete with the government and the corporate authority. You know what I'm saying? And a corporate structure. You know what I mean? So look at that. Michael Jordan, LeBron. I mean, Michael Jordan, and that's one thing you probably could give LeBron over Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? LeBron over Michael Jordan is that LeBron's been in a longer relationship with his wife than Jordan. You know what I mean? That's most likely what you could give LeBron over Jordan is that LeBron's been in a relationship with his wife longer than Jordan. You know what I mean? And LeBron, well, he's a weirdo. You know what I mean? He's a little weird. You know what I mean? And extremely over emotional. You know, and he buys into the promotion of profiting. I think when it comes to the victim narrative. You know what I mean? Because one thing the rich have done, to go on a little tangent, is one thing the rich have learned is that to appeal to the poor, you have to promote something they can go through. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm a billionaire, I feel like I'm a slave. And somebody poor will be like, "Yeah, man, I feel like I'm a slave to the system." Oh, keep going, billionaire. Yeah, even though I'm a billionaire, I feel like I'm racially discriminated against. Oh, I feel that too. Keep going, billionaire. Well, I want to thank God for all my accomplishments. Yeah, I thank God too. Keep going, billionaire. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. So to me, man, you gotta understand, man. As a man, you're allowed moments. You do not have the authority or the stability to go beyond the moments and have long term. I guess what would that be called? If you go from moments to, what is that? Long term, long time? I don't know. I don't know the word. You know what I'm saying? Time or whatever. But yeah, we're in the moments, man. That's it, man. You're in the age of moments. You have the moments, you enjoy them, and you move on. That's it. You don't have the authority to have anything more than that. You know what I'm saying? Once you accept that, and a lot of men won't. A lot of men in the West, they're still pursuing the LTS, long-term relationship, without knowing that it's done. So those days are over, man. You know what I mean? Even if you have one, like I said on that video, is what is the price you're willing to pay? You know, the price for a long-term relationship is your manhood. You know what I'm saying? Can you handle having a son, then watching your wife literally feminize that boy? You know what I'm saying? Until he gets his nails done, gets his nails painted. You know, what price are you willing to pay for a long-term relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because the days of pain, the days of the price being for you to have a long-term relationship is your money, your status, your money, you know, those days are gone. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady's wife came to him and said, "You know what? If you want to stay here in this relationship, you have to give up being a quarterback." You know what I'm saying? You gotta give up being the GOAT. Think about that. You gotta give up on something you do not get another opportunity. You know what I'm saying? The athlete, if you look at the athlete and if you look at like a woman's fertility window, those are the only things that with a man and a woman are equal. A woman has a limited time to be fertile, and a man has a limited time to be athletic. You know what I'm saying? Limited times. But she came up to him and basically said she's bothered by the fact that he's still a quarterback. He still wants to be the guy. And Tom Brady, the funny thing about Brady is that he actually got robbed the year, I think it was either his last year or the year before that. He got robbed of the MVP. At age 44, 45, he got robbed of the MVP. You know what I'm saying? Most valuable player. You know what I mean? At that age. Tom Brady was perfected something. The way he threw the ball, his release, he perfected certain ways to maintain his game. But the price for his long-term relationship was, yo, man, you gotta leave football. And at the end of the day, it looked like Tom Brady did leave, but he left too late. You know what I'm saying? I think he left football too late. I think when Giselle asked him, you got to leave football. You know what I'm saying? He thought about it. He went back another year after his so-called retirement. He took some time off and came back. And then I think he thought about it, you know what I'm saying, and retired again, you know what I'm saying? And this time Giselle wasn't there. She already moved on, took the kids and blah, blah, blah. The list goes on, you know. So the thing that's happened is your money, your status and your money, you know what I'm saying? It can somewhat create, um, you know, go beyond the moments. But the problem is that, eventually that money isn't the final price. The final price now becomes your manhood, your children. You know what I'm saying? There's a price, man. There's a price to be paid, you know. As I tell a lot of guys, man, this is what could happen to you. Some of the homies got kids, man. I don't hate on a man with kids. Do your best, do what you can do. You know what I'm saying? Do what you can do, whatever. But a lot of other men, man, the way I look at it now in the West is, man, what are, what are you willing to sacrifice? You know, are you willing to sacrifice your own children just to remain in a long-term relationship? You know, and that sacrifice, the price is extreme. You know what I mean? I was talking to one of my boys about you know, the the offspring erasing, the offspring deletion. I was talking to him about that, and he said something huge, man. He said something that just, kind of shattered my mind. He gave me an epiphany. He said something big. He said, "All right, man." She says, "Her body, her choice," right? Which makes sense. It is her body, but within her body is the body of that child. So that child does not have a choice. Yes, it's her body, but that child is not her body. That child is inside of her body. So you know what I'm saying? So the deletion process becomes you know what I'm saying, becomes murder. You know what I mean? To not sugarcoat it, that's what it becomes. So the yes, it's her body, but that child within her body is not her body. That's that child's own body. So the real choice is within. She's deciding to delete something within her. You know what I'm saying? So this is how far you are in a society, and this is promoted daily. The mental destruction. You know what I'm saying? The mental destruction of the female mind. You know what I mean? To the point where it's promoting. The promotion is to grow something within her so she can experience destroying something within. And then claim that it's her body by completely ignoring the body that is inside of her body. You know what I'm saying? It is this is the society you're in, you know. So a lot of men, man, you gotta learn, bro. It's a painful. This is why I say this full time ghosting, man. This full time ghosting. Give me a minute. What the hell happened to the? Man, give me a minute. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? That's why I say this full time ghosting, man. It's become the only option because at the end of the day, man, what they've done with this system is it's basically completely detached. You know what I mean? It's detached a lot of women from their morality. You know what I'm saying? From their morality, from their femininity, from their nurturing aspect, and all that. So you yourself, you can't operate on a detached society with attachment. You know what I'm saying? Let me say it again. You can't operate with attachment on a detached society. Let me say it one more time. You can't operate with attachment in a detached society. You can't. It only leads to a situation of destruction. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of men, man, a lot of men got a lot of thinking to do, man. A lot of men got to think about what's going on and realize that, yeah, man, we are all you are allowed to experience as a man now is moments. You could cherish those moments, but understand once that moment is gone, you know what I'm saying? It stays there. That's it. It does not move beyond that. So, that's why I made this live stream is that to give you, I apologize for the audio issues earlier on. You know what I'm saying? I don't think YouTube would even allow me to delete that. But the thing is, I had to make this stream to give you something to think about. Think about this, man. Moments. That's all you can have now is moments. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to risk for just moments? Think about that. Moments. You know what I mean? We're in the age of the temporary term relationship. You know what I'm saying? The agreements you can have with her are all temporary. You know what I'm saying? It's all temporary. There is no long term. So, and we're in the age of the no term relationship when men cannot say or have any standards or set any standards. There are no terms to this relationship. Or you're in a relationship of, the age of the feminized man's long term relationship is really the her term relationship. You know, what is that? HTS, her term relationship. You know what I'm saying? So what is that? Her term. Yeah, it would be a HTR. Yeah, it's an HTR, her term relationship. Yeah. So a lot of men, man, there's a lot going on, bro. A lot of guys are just thinking, what can they do? Because now everything you used to look for, you know, having good moments towards building for the long term. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's gone. You know, in fact, now, it's funny how it took me this long to say it, but, realize this saying, moments do not lead to long terms. Let me repeat that. Moments do not lead to long terms. Oh man, that's deep. That is deep, man. Moments do not lead to long terms. You know what I'm saying? They used to. That's what men are still operating on. We got to have good moments together so we can build a long term, stable relationship. But we're in the age of moments do not lead to long terms. Damn, I'm shocked it took me this long to come up with this. What is that? What is that metaphor or whatever? Moments do not lead to long terms. Man, you gotta think about that, bro. Think about that. But want to thank everybody for stopping by. And the thing is, I know I'm shadow banned by YouTube because here's the thing. You can find. I'm back on TikTok. You know, hold the truth hostage on TikTok. TikTok, I'm getting like 800 plus views with 100 followers. YouTube, I'm at over 1,200 people. Yet I'm averaging, streaming wise, they don't even alert certain people. It is what it is. I mean, it's their platform. That's the reason I bring this up is that someone might say, well, he's operating a dead channel. Yeah, but dude, I can literally show you TikTok where how am I getting more views on TikTok for long term 10-minute video than on YouTube? The problem with YouTube is it's all algorithm. The algorithm, YouTube, I got to do another video. I'll do one, but YouTube and all these algorithm based sites, they're destroying themselves. There's no organic growth. Everything has to go through the algorithm. And I plan to do a live stream because I've been watching a video, The Dead Internet, and I honestly believe it. Honestly believe that AI and all that, I think maybe AI, it's being sped up for development, is to actually disguise the fact that the internet is dying. You know what I'm saying? People are spending less and less time online. You know what I'm saying? People are realizing that, yeah, the internet is just literally a second job. The same potential issues as a job, HR, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So, but that'll be another video, be another stream or video. But again, thank you for stopping by. And remember, guys, remember, moments do not lead to long terms. Let me repeat that again. Moments do not lead to long terms. Let me say it again. Moments. Damn, give me a minute. Well, I don't know why I did that. Give me a second. Yeah. Remember, moments do not lead to long terms. Moments do not lead to long terms, man. It's deep. Hope everybody had a good day. Peace out, man. And keep celebrating the holidays. You don't got family, whatever, just, celebrate it, enjoy yourself. Peace.
They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that made